The Unova gym leaders come out to play in this week's episode of Pokémon Generations. Pokémon fans, try to pry yourselves from your 3DS today. I know we just got the release of Pokémon Sun and Moon, but you have got to check out this episode of Pokémon Generations, as the Unova gym leaders throw down with Team Plasma. While I personally felt that in Pokemon Black and White, Team Plasma was probably one of the weakest organizations, and yes, I do believe that the entire story from that game was completely overrated, getting to see them in action in this episode was fantastic, but it was made even better by the fact that we have the Unova gym leaders. Pretty much every single one appears in this episode, except for Silent Crest and Chili. At least I didn't see them in the episode. You know what? I'm okay with that. I think those guys suck. But the episode actually opens up with Team Plasma with their massive towers and castles rising up out of the ground, summoning all of their powerful Pokemon as they're confronted by Iris. I have to say it was very refreshing to see Iris again. She's very different from her anime counterpart, even though this is also an anime counterpart in a sense, but it was really awesome to see her and her Druddigon in action. But of course, she is also joined by a number of awesome gym leaders. As she's being attacked, she's actually saved by Clay and his Excadrill in a really fantastic scene, and that's at that moment that you realize all the other gym leaders are going to come in, and they all have really great moments. Berg, Lenora, not to mention frickin' Bryson. Bryson was my favorite part of this episode because everybody else was using their Pokemon to battle. He just uses his fisticuffs to kick all sorts of ass. Definitely one of my favorite gym leaders. Drayden is such a great character design. I always thought that he was one of the coolest looking gym leaders. I love his impossibly ridiculous goatee mustache, which I don't even know which one it is. It's like a combination of the two, but it's reminiscent of a dragon's mouth, which is just fantastic, especially as Haxorus, which is actually fighting in this episode. And it all ends with Team Plasma and the Unova gym leaders just running towards each other in the middle of this massive battlefield with all of their Pokemon, looking like a scene out of frickin' Captain America Civil War. It was pitch perfect. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Pokémon Generations? While Pokemon Black and White was probably my least favorite Pokemon generation, this episode right here I still think was pretty fantastic, and it also featured some of my favorite Pokemon from that generation as well, such as Haxorus and frickin' Excadrill. And they even managed to make lame-looking Pokemon like Swanna look pretty badass. And that's a pretty massive accomplishment. Really though, my favorite thing about this episode was just watching Bryson fight. That and the fact that his Beartic completely destroyed a Gigalith. There's a great scene where his Beartic comes in, grabs the Gigalith, and just throws it into the side of the Team Plasma castle, and it just leaves this massive impact which looked so painful. That Beartic killed that Pokemon. There's no way that it had survived. Like the last couple of episodes of Pokemon Generations, this is an anime short. It's only about like 4 or so minutes long, and I really wish they could have gotten to the action a little bit quicker, because the first like 2 minutes is just Team Plasma spewing all of their bullcrap about their leader Gestus. We're going to change the world! We're going to change the world of Pokemon, blah 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 blah. I just don't give a crap. Let's get some cool action, and at least we definitely got a lot of that in this episode. Not to mention, if you're a fan of these gym leaders, you're just going to be fanboying or fangirling the entire time. This was a solid episode of Pokemon Generations. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do for the rest of this, if they're going to just go through Black and White and X and Y, or if they're actually going to surprise us at the very end and actually give us some Sun and Moon material. If you want some more of that, they just started the brand new Pokemon anime, Sun and Moon, which is the continuing adventures of Ash, and I've only seen the first episode so far, and a lot of people had problems with the way that the series looked in terms of its animation and artwork. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, I thought the episode looked really fantastic. Yes, the art style has changed oh so slightly, but I really do think it's for the better. It's breathed a lot of life into that series, and Pokemon Generations is just continuing to make Pokemon an amazing anime experience, and you should definitely check out this episode right here. I thought the first part with all the Team Plasma stuff was kind of boring, but once the gym leaders jumped in, it was just pure fan service. I'm giving this episode right here a 4 out of 5. Check it out, Pokemon fans. If you did watch this episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you have a favorite gym leader from the Unova region? Did you have a favorite Pokemon from this episode? If you have not actually watched this episode of Pokemon Generations, I'll put a link for that in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment or two, and if you liked the review, please give it a like. I will see you guys next time, and as always, stay dandy, baby! And now time to go play some Pokemon Sun and Moon.